hey there. We are gonna throw this engine and trans into this frame, so I thought I'd take a little shot for you. 4L60E and a 5.3 LS. It's basically all intact still, coming out of that Suburban out there, 2002. And I set the motor mounts in here that I bought. They're just a common stock style. And then here is the engine side. There's slotted holes in a couple locations there, so you can custom fit it and lock it down. Here's the other one. So let's lift it in place. Okay, we got it raised up to clear everything on the front. It's slid back to where we're gonna try and line up this transmission bolt down here. See how close we can get. And there's the engine mount. So you come back a little bit more and get her to fit. All right, we're gonna pull this AC compressor because it looks like it will be a problem. There's the mount, both sides, and then there's a frame. I think that's gonna interfere, so if you want AC, you're gonna have to put it up higher. That's what we did on old Rustalicious, but let's pull that. Okay, I had forgotten one part of this drop in the OLS into the S10 frame, and that was that the oil pan right there, relative to the engine mounts, is too close to the K-member here. So we have to notch that and clearance it for the oil pan. And also, I don't think these headers are gonna clear, so I will probably need to take those off. Maybe the passenger one would clear, this A-arm, the upper A-arm, but the rear or the driver's side one, there it is, definitely is gonna hit hard on there. So we'll need new headers to get this working, but for now, I kind of want to get the motor and trans set in place because I need the engine hoist for another little deal. So let me zoom in on the notch I'm making. Kind of marked where the pan was, and it was a little inside this line on either side, and then about up to here. And I had to go underneath, so I'm about to drop that off, and then I'll show you. We got it trimmed out of there, and there's our piece there. So took out a good section, and then we'll see how much we have, clearance we have after the motor's in there, and then we'll box that in with some new material. Okay, here's trans actually into the mounting hole. We'll see if that happens to line up with these mounts. There's adjustment to get that right, and you can see the clearance right there for the pan. We'll see if that's enough. Here's this side. Hard to see the mount right there, but and the clearance, kind of see it in there. So let's see if it'll set down. I did loosen the header, but it's captured by the oil dipstick. So see if that's out of the way enough. You can see close. Okay, this is looking pretty good. Got the back in. We got the mounts close, so it's not perfect. What we got going on is the power steering pump is hitting on these hard lines for the steering box. So what I think I'd like to do is just move this mount column to the frame, move that up, space it out a little bit, because we can afford the room. Or we could change those lines up right there. So I'm gonna think about that for a minute. I got somewhere to go. On this side, we're pretty close. We just need to come over passenger side direction. Let's see if you can see in there. Almost there as far as height goes. But it's really tight down there to the K member, which is fine. But we'll see if jumping those up a little will help. All right, we got our LS motor, the 5.3, sitting down in this frame now. And had a little bit of a wrestling match going, and I eventually won. But up to that point, what I was fighting was, first of all, I had to remove this power steering pump because it was running hard into the gearbox. So S10 to Suburban LS doesn't fit great with that big power steering pump. We're gonna have to go something smaller there. Then number two, these mounts were giving me a fit, but I purchased them for an S10 to LS swap, so I was fully expecting them to be a bolt-on fit. And what happened was there were two little tabs on the back side that's supposed to guide maybe a stock engine side mount on there, and they were hanging up right on the back side here. There we go, right back here. And so I just buzzed those babies off. It had some metal in it along with some rubber, and they kind of look like this. It's hard to see, but just a little tiny tab. And so knocked those off on the forward side, aft side, on both mounts. And that solved the issue. They slipped right in, went so smooth after that. Went right in there. There's the air conditioning compressor removed. These lines had to come from underneath up to the side. These are the transmission cooling lines. Got the header off both sides and put the dipstick back on, and we're fitting in this hole back here, the trans mount hole that was stock S10. That looks to be a good spot for it. So we'll find out more as we set the cab in place along with the fenders. And obviously we'll have to do some stuff on the front here, knock off this frame and position this. This radiator is definitely not gonna fit the truck, but I was leaving it connected for now, so we don't have fluid everywhere yet. Okay, hey y'all, welcome back to OTG, where we are putting this LS 5.3 motor in an S10 frame for an old 50s Chevy hot rod. And notice we had to clear the K member for the oil pan on this guy. There's the oil pan. And now we're just gonna fill that in. So it's gonna show you little templates I made. They're one for the front here. It's gonna go right in there, and then of course a side piece, one for each side. they are. Got them lined out on this about 3/16 thick sheet metal. Now we're gonna cut it out with old plasma, and I'll show you how it looks as we get it cleaned up and ready to weld in there. All right, we knocked those pieces out of this material, just like butter, the old plasma cutter. And here they are. I'm not gonna be able to hold them all up there nice, but there's an idea of kind of how it's gonna fit. Here's this one. Sit up in there nice. When I get them tacked up there, I'll show it to you again. Yeah. Got us a few simple pieces, and we will get those welded in, and then we'll throw some paint down. So we'll be ready to drop the motor back in place. All right, we got our closeout plates all welded up to make this notch in this frame, and you can see kind of what I had cut out and then welded in place here. And it's good practice welding on this. It's ready for a motor. Let's drop it in. And let's throw a little paint on it just to keep it from oxidizing and rusting. So here we go, we're ready for an engine. All right, let's give you a look at the engine installed, and one of the best views of the notch that we had to make in the K member. And I got it all painted, so it's kind of dark down in there, but you can see the brake line going in a similar area as before, just in front of the oil pan. So yeah, we got it sitting in there nice, original trans bolt location on the cross member. And there's the engine mount there, that's loosely attached. Same here, we'll tighten everything up in a minute. This one, the starter's kind of in the way. So let's get underneath. And there it is, a lot closer clearance on this side. It's just how it sets in the frame here, so, but enough to make it work. And then here's the other side. So we could have trimmed a little less on the driver's side, but that's how it turned out. Call it a success. This view shows how far forward the motor's placed in the frame compared to where the cab and fenders mounted up on this frame. And there is not enough room for the radiator. So stay tuned for part 2 of this series, where I'll show how I remedy this situation. I will get that out right away, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.